The Marvel Cinematic Universe has revolutionized the world of comic book movies, to say the least. Ever since Iron Man first repulsor blasted his way into theaters in 2008, the MCU's been delivering incredible experience after incredible experience, all the way up until now. But we aren't here to talk about movies. We're here to talk about costumes. The costume is an essential part of any superhero, and it tends to be something that has a very large influence on my perception of the character. The MCU has made a point of ensuring that their costumes are as good as they can be. Or have they? You see, sometimes the MCU makes a costume that is instantly iconic, one that ends up becoming the definitive look of the character. And other times, they make this. Today, I'm here to talk about this. And look, okay, I'm just here to nitpick. I'm 17. It's not my job to make these designs look good. It's my job to poke fun at them and bitch for half an hour or 15 minutes. So let's just dive into it, shall we? The good, the bad, and whatever the hell this is. Just a few notes before we actually get started though. All suits count, be it from the movies, a series, or the Netflix show, since those are canon now. All of them are gonna be in this video, none of them are safe. But there is one caveat. The suits have to at least have appeared on screen, in the movies or the series or whatever. They have to have at least shown up actually, like, in the thing that they're in. So that means anything that's just on set, or design / concept art, those don't count. Sorry, excuse me. As I wrote this video, I realized I neglected to actually write anything about the Hulk. But so did the MCU! Hey! Section 1. Actual superhero costumes. The first guy we have on our list is Ant-Man. The first Ant-Man costume has this handcrafted look that I really like. You kind of get the sense that Hank Pym really just made this thing in his lab, and it looks really good. In my opinion, the suit is the perfect balance between realism and style. I would argue that Ant-Man, the first movie, is set in the best period in the MCU in terms of lore and expanded universe stuff. Then you get to the second Ant-Man movie, bland. This suit feels like a fucking board meeting. I'm so bored looking at this thing. They streamlined the design of the first Ant-Man costume, and then it really just evaporated into the standard MCU superhero look. Got shitty panels on the torso, and they removed the piping on his chest. I really like the piping, and it's gone now. They took my piping! Without bitching about it anymore, the second Ant-Man suit really lost all of the charm of the first one. Next guy on our list, Captain America. The suit that Captain America wears in the first Avenger is my favorite suit ever in Phase 1 of the MCU. Man, star-spangled man with a plan. The suit has this very grounded and tactical feel without losing that iconography of Captain America. It really does look like something that you might actually find in a World War II history book. Also, they didn't pull that shitty soldier helmet thing that they did in the Ultimate Comics. I fucking hate his look in the Ultimate Comics, dude. That shit is ugly. They made good use of paneling and layering without looking too overly designed, which is a trap that a lot of MCU character designs fall into. The Avengers suit. This suit is pretty poorly regarded, but if I'm being honest, I kind of have a soft spot for it. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's a little cool. I mean, I was a child when the first Avengers came out, so of course I was gonna think it's cool. There are a lot of weird things about this design that kind of make it look icky, but still, as a whole, I think that it's nice. I like looking at it. Even if, when I look at it for too long, I start to feel like maybe I'm gonna go insane. The boots look kind of gross. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's this weird, like, they broke up the boots with some glue in areas of it in a weird way. It looks kind of, it looks gross. It's gross is what I'm trying to say. There are just some things about the suit that confuse me, like, why is the belt blue? It's a weird choice. Like, you need something to break up the stripes from the rest of the outfit, and having it be blue is just not a good transition piece, if that makes sense. Also, the gauntlets and the boots are way too thick. When you give a character like thicker or bigger hands and feet, like how they appear in this design, they kind of mess with the proportions overall. And to get this look of him being kind of small. So will I. Oh. The mask also fits in a weird way. I don't know if it's like actually the way it fits or just the way it's shaped, but it doesn't really look that great. I feel like they tried to do the like fabric thing where it's like flush with his head, but also do a helmet thing. Honestly, this suit with like the helmet that they use in later movies would have been probably pretty good looking. This suit could have been Captain America's best look in the MCU if it just had a couple of extra tweaks, but it didn't end up getting that. Instead, they replaced it with post-Civil War Captain America. This suit kind of falls into that typical MCU outfit category, but it's the only one in that category that I really like. There's this weird thing that happened in the MCU, specifically in Civil War, where a bunch of characters from different places and sometimes literal planets and galaxies all kind of look samey. I don't really know how to explain it, but like, I guess because a lot of characters were going to show up in Civil War, they had to rework their designs in a way that would make them all fit in the same movie. Because of that, by this point in the MCU, a lot of character designs start to look really, really samey and bland, unfortunately. But anyway, back to Captain America. He's got this weird pattern on his tummy that's like a little over-designed. He's got kind of like a honeycomb thing going on with the red section and some weird paneling and lining on the white. I don't know how to explain it, other than it's unnecessary. It's a lot of clutter. I don't really like it. It's weird. Why doesn't the red part connect to the bottom of the belt? I don't get it. Speaking of red, there's like a severe lack of red in this suit and other colors overall. They replaced a lot of red with brown, which that's something they did in the first Avenger, but I could get it because it was like World War II and really had to be practical. And it was like the 1930s or whatever. But the colors are so mute and desaturated that, especially when you look at him next to the shield, it just kind of looks sad. My real issue is the fact that the shield is the same color, but the suit got darker and more grody. It really was an overcorrection of the Avengers suit, which, again, that suit just needed some minor tweaking, but they just kind of took the suit from Winter Soldier and retooled it into a Captain America look, which is fine. This suit is cool, it fits better on him, it doesn't have that problem with the gauntlets being too bulky like it did in the Avengers movie. We're gonna move on from this. This suit is kind of to me. The Falcon. Wow, what a cool look for the Falcon. And it only took like 5 years of pestering to make it. It has some tactical elements, but it still has that nice, super heroic look to it. It has a similar design philosophy to the first Avengers suit, but more sleek and modern, and it just looks really, really clean and really good. I love this suit a lot. And the wings have enough like mechanical elements to them that they kind of look like they may actually work. Or be really heavy and not even actually be able to fly. I don't know, it depends. Depends on how you're feeling. If you're a glass half full, glass half empty kind of guy. Captain fucking America. This is my favorite suit in the MCU, period. I fucking love this thing. They really said, fuck military gear, and they just pulled this thing out of the comics and brought it to the show. And I love it so much. It's sexy, it's iconic, it's my Captain America. This is the best suit ever. Gold Star. Black Panther. He had a very simple and sleek design, which is reminiscent of his one in the comics. In that one, it's like a straight up black zip tie with a mask. This is another example of the MCU just lifting a design right out of the page, and it's great, I think. Yeah, a thing about this design is it might be a little too simple, but that's just me. I do think it looks fucking sick when it glows purple. I love the color purple a lot. It's my favorite color. I love the color purple. And I really like that T'Challa's suit glows purple. Kind of like, I think it looks cool. The suit has toes. The Civil War suit. I think the Civil War suit is actually way cooler than the one in the Solo movie. It has this interesting pattern and paneling all over the suit that I think is actually really, really cool. It's a good example of how the MC uses lines and other stuff to detail a suit. The suit has an incredible cowl, and the eyes just look so cool and striking. This one doesn't have toes. Iron Man is the next character. Iron Man has a lot of looks in the MCU, even disregarding that whole bit in Iron Man 3. And that's why we're gonna have a speed round, baby. Let's go, 2 sentences or less. Mark 3. Simple, sleek, and incredible. My favorite armor that Tony's ever worn. Tin Can. Big boy. Chunky boy. I love the Tin Can whenever it shows in any piece of Marvel media, and I like that it kind of represents the first Iron Man movie in a way.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Mark 5. The suit-up sequence and the fact that it's the first time Tony ever had a suit that fit in a compact space is really the coolest thing that this armor has going for it. Pretty solid suit, a lot of moving pieces, gets trashed immediately. Mark 42. Golden Boy falls apart for 2 hours. I really like the design of the suit. I think the majority of it being a pale gold kind of gives it this prototype look that's really cool and fits really well with the movie that it's in. Mark 47. Mr. Stark. This suit kind of reminds me of the Audi that Spider-Man trashes. I like the homage to Ultimate Iron Man here, but I like the Ultimate Iron Man armor too much to take this. Big Boys 1 and 2. I like the first one more. It has a construction equipment type energy that I think is really cool. The second one just looks plain gross and also kind of reminds me of a car. Fuck you, think that. Mark 50. Good job recreating this classic Iron Man look, Marvel. It only took you 10 years. Kidding aside, this suit is a lovely tribute to the classic Iron Man look in the 60s. A beautiful suit and a fitting coffin for the guy who started it all. Okay, now that Iron Man's done with, let's pull an MCU and go to Spider-Man. Homecoming. All the hype around this one is a little unwarranted to me. Like, this suit just has too many unnecessary details that stop it from being that good in my eyes. You know, trash like the black lines and the shitty belt and the pattern on the blue. You don't need a pattern on the blue for Spider-Man. It's just unnecessary. Far From Home. This suit is fucking sexy! Well, I mean, I like it a lot, but I do have to admit it gets weird around the arms. That is a beautiful belt. A beautiful belt. It took way too long to get here, but that's a beautiful belt. As for other stuff, I guess I feel kind of mixed on the back logo. Sorry if I'm going, like, blowing through past this. I'm still in speed round mentality. Homemade Suit 2.0. It's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man. It's just Spider-Man. It's beautiful. It's Spider-Man. Bear Bubble. Excellent cowl. I think that the mask here is just beautiful. And again, lenses. Holy shit. The red lenses just gorgeous. The suit's really heavy on practicality because of how gritty and realistic the Netflix shows are, but it still looks really good. I should admit that it does kind of look off in later seasons and in the Avengers, but it's still a really good suit. I will, however, say that it did look best in Season 1. I don't get why they ditched his gauntlets for shitty little gloves. I don't get that. Those are just a few of the character designs that I really wanted to get into in this video. And now with that out of the way, let's move on to Section 2, Pussyfooting. Danny. Oh, Luke. How unfairly they treated you so. Iron Fist. This dude really just wears clothes. This dude's got nothing on the Chad comic Iron Fist with his fucking deep V and sandals. Danny Rand in the Netflix shows is a fucking pussy, dude. We do get a taste of his classic costume for like a brief flashback in the show, but that doesn't really fucking matter because he doesn't wear it again. Luke Cage. It's just a shirt, bro. It's a fucking shirt. Honestly, how reluctant can you be to not... It's a fucking shirt! The Falcon, again. For the longest time, Sam Wilson just wore some random military gear as his costume in the MCU. It's a fine design, but he looked boring. He's a superhero. He shouldn't look boring. It's boring! Section 3. The thing about Section 3 is I don't really have a name or a category for it, so... MCU in general speed round. Less than 3 sentences, let's go! Hawkeye. He could have fit into previous categories, but I just plain didn't want to talk about him. Cool, simple, purple. Good job giving Hawkeye an actual suit, Marvel. It only took you like 5 years to do it. Doctor Strange is Thor Ragnarok. Honestly, this guy should wear gloves more often. This is basically just a suit from the Doctor Strange movie, but now featuring gloves, which, if I'm being honest, kind of completes his look. I kind of like them a lot, but they never show up in anything again, so fuck me, am I right? Thor, the weird one. Oh shit. Weird! It's weird! Why suddenly make him look like Chemical Plant from Sonic the Hedgehog 2? The helmet is gross, there's too many layers, and honestly, he should just be wearing this for the whole movie. Loki, the god of mischief. This is his best look. Don't at me. Do it or something. Cool, straight out of the comics. Amazing take. Gold star. Captain Marvel. Good enough take on the character, but she suffers from the MCU's use of what I like to call too many fucking layers. Also, it's weird that she swaps colors in between movies, but like whatever. This is Marvel. What did I just say about the panels? Bad MCU, bad. No Gold Star. Moon Knight. Now this is how you add extra layers to a character without it looking stupid. I love this design so much. It's such a cool take on the character. I love that they made him look like a mummy. It fits so well with the Egyptian mythology thing they were going for with him. Gold Star. Next, Shang-Chi. I don't know why, but I always thought this kind of looked itchy. This is a far cry from like the jumpsuits and shit that he wore in the comics. It's alright, but it's a bit boring. Put a dragon on it or something, I don't know. Mr. Stark, it smells like a new car here! Another one I didn't want to talk about. It's just a shit take on the one from the comics. The colors look so gross for the longest time. Overused and overdesigned. This looks fucking ugly. Cord. Here's the thing, Star-Lord, if Chris Pratt was in Star Wars, Scarlet Witch, solid, I can see the vision. Quicksilver, nice fucking shirt, I guess. You're lucky Aaron Taylor Johnson is on. Quicksilver. What? I hope you had fun watching me talk about this stuff for a while. Character design is something that I tend to dabble in a lot, and if you want to get more ideas of what I think is a good character design, maybe check my Twitter and look at my cool art. Well, that's all for me, I guess. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll like and maybe subscribe. Bye. I'm Goober.